Hey everybody, Scout Crafter here again. I'm down the shop. I just want to tell you I bought these 4 hammers. I just got them in the mail today, and I actually wanted this hammer. This is the only one I wanted. I needed a 16 ounce to go in my collection. I have the 20 ounce. These are very hard to get now. So I ordered, it was sold in a lot, $40. This hammer alone, I know, goes a lot of times. You can't even see these for less than 40 bucks. So I said, okay, you know what? I can always use these as throwaways, whatever the case, loaners. When I got them, you know, they were rusted. I knew they were rusted, but the handles were all loose. Every one of them, they were, you know, they were rattly loose, you know. But what they were I guess they were stored outside or whatever. The problem you have with hickory, and the reason that so many people have gone to composite handles, is because here or anywhere in the cold weather, you guys on the West Coast don't have this problem, or down Florida, but when you're on the East Coast, when you have a swing of weather, you go from hot to cold during the seasons. Wood shrinks, compresses, shrinks, expands, and they loosen up. So these were so loose. The first thing I did, took a bucket of water, put about 3 inches of water in, hot water, and I submerged all these heads into the water. That swelled up the wood. Now they're nice and tight again, okay? They're usable hammers again. You wouldn't have used them before, but now they're all swelled up. Left them in there for about half an hour, like I said. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these onto the wire brush, and I'm going to show you, just with the wire brush, how you could take this hammer that looks like it's ready for the trash heap and make it usable. Okay, now with this, this is one of 2 of the Stanley Bostitch hammers that I got. This one was the worst one. And you can see we just work it around here. The only problem is the way this is forged, it has a lot of little areas that you can't get into with the wire wheel. For that, we use this little stainless steel hand brush and just work it around the crevices and whatnot until we get all the rust out. Okay, this is hammer number 2. You can see what it looks like. That's just like a fogging, we call it. That's no problem. Let's go to it. Again, we're going over the wire wheel, same as before, but it's good to remember we wrap the handle around with a little masking tape in case you don't want the wire wheel cutting into the woodwork and making it look bad. And again, the stainless steel brushes. These are disposable brushes, but they come in really handy. Great to have. Now, we're pretty much almost finished with this, but you see over here, this is called scarring. You see, when you have rust that gets into that area, and at least pitting or scarring, like we said. Now it's very easy to get rid of that. You can use a little bit of sandpaper, go over it with a wire brush. Remember, they do this from the factory when these come out of the forges, so don't be afraid to take a little sandpaper or whatever abrasive to it. So let's get rid of just that little piece of scarring. Sandpaper might leave some scratches, so you always go over with the wire brush. Okay, we took these down to that they're respectable now. Now I could easily grind this all down and take it down to and put a mirror polish on it, but again, it's like putting lipstick on a pig, you know. These are Chinese disposable hammers. Don't put too much time into, you know, into stuff that it's not worth it. So right now there's no more rust on these. These actually were never used. You could see they were NOS, but you see what happens when you store stuff in the garage or in a non-heated area. They take to the elements. Here's that area that had that little stain to it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe everything down with some denatured alcohol, and after that we're going to put a coat of shellac, because this is a high carbon material. It will rust. So a nice coat of shellac on here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do for here. We don't put any shellac on here. This is the reason we don't want that to expand and contract, but we want to fill it with oil. I'll show you how we do that. Now if you notice, I'll be putting this on with a small piece of rag straight out of the can, not diluting it. Okay, here's my furnace. We got these hanging here. The shellac will dry. It only takes about an hour and it'll be ready. Okay, we're just about finished. Now the hammers are all dry from the shellac, and you can see it puts a nice coating on here. It's only been an hour. It don't take long to dry. But now we got to treat the top. Now here's the important part. You see the top here. Now this is the whole reason. If this isn't sealed, that expands and contracts, and that's a problem you have. So the first thing I like to do is, because these were so dried out, what I like to use is, I use a lemon oil. You can use a teak oil. It's a very thin oil, and this will suck in there, and I'll keep putting it on there, and I'll use my finger. You'll see how that works. I'll just put it on here like this, And I'll keep doing it, and it will absorb right in. It'll suck right in. And I'll keep doing this. I'll coat this, maybe I'll give it 5 coats, or whatever, until it stops sucking it in. This is the end grain. It'll draw it in really quick. So when I'm finished, when it don't absorb any more of this lemon oil, when it stops absorbing the lemon oil, after a couple days of treatment, then I'll go with the linseed oil. And I'll put a couple coats of that on there, and that'll seal the top of this, and it should be good. And like I said, they're solid, they work, and just a way that you can keep your hammers in service and look after them. Anyway, hope it helps. Hope you guys have a nice new year. Take care. Have a good day.